మిత్రులారా, బంధువులారా, వెల్కమ్ టు South Asia Maps, this is an education channel and intellectual Kshatriyas channel. At this channel, your presenter Dr. J. Reddy will try to share his 4+ decades of passion on agriculture, demography, and human ecology and Indology, Bharat Mata related studies. In addition to my standard interests on molecular biology, biotechnology, crop breeding, and bioinformatics. We are continuing with Rulara, our rice grains on chessboard series. This is a very important topics, and this discusses a concept called exponential growth compounding. That is the compound rate of interest. You take a certain amount or principal and increase it at a constant rate. The rate can be 0.1% or 1% or even 7% bank interest or even 19% a standard credit card interest. At particular stage, the numbers will be enormous and humans lack the intuitiveness to understand that. In a sense, you start putting one grain in here, double it, again double it, 248. By the time here you come 64th square on the chessboard, how many grains you need to put? What is the concept of that enigma riddle that is generally covered using this aspect? This particular part 7, we are talking about a concept called effort to place. Suppose you take a rice grain and assume you can put one rice grain on the board for second. This is just a subjective assumption to make the things very clear. And effort to place on the 30th square. You have a chessboard, this is the 30th square, and you start filling all of them one grain at a second and come to the 30th and fill it completely. It takes 33 years of your life. You have to work 24 hours. So that is very important. We will explore this further. మిత్రులారా, చదరంగం బోర్డు పైన రైసు విత్తనాలు పెట్టుకుంటూ పోతే ప్రతి క్షణానికి ఒక విత్తనం పెడితే, అంటే ప్రతి సెకండ్కి ఒక విత్తనం పెడితే 30వ స్క్వేర్కు వస్తే మొత్తం బోర్డు పైన 30 స్క్వేర్లు పూర్తి చేయాలి అంటే విత్తనాలు పెట్టుకుంటూ పోతే 33 ఇయర్స్, 33 సంవత్సరాలు మీ జీవితంలో స్పెండ్ చేయవలసి వస్తుంది. ఆ యొక్క అంశాన్ని మీ భవతీయుడు జొగ్గారి తిరుపతి రెడ్డి ఇందులో చక్కగా విశదీకరిస్తారు. This is our series. In this series, we are now covering we finished part 6, we are covering part 7. In part 6, we assumed that you are placing the rice grain 1 per second on the board. That is a subject to assumption, and it will take 1 year to place the grains on the 25th squares and all before including. And you think the next 31 square, you can do it at 30th square, you can do it very easily, but it will take 33 years. Why it should be 30 here and it will take 33 years? This point we will make it clear in this particular presentation. And the remaining rest of the rice grain chessboard or wheat grain chessboard enigma, I will be posting these topics for you soon. All these presentations, which were immaculately made with meticulous care and research, you can find them at South Asia Maps JRD Education Channel as of February 2025. Makara Sankranti time, the post-Pongal, that is Sankranti period, and 2025 February, I have around about 750 or so videos put in round about 75 or so playlists. You can pick and choose the point of our interest: human ecology, demography, agriculture, farming, Indology, and so on. That is South Asia maps, Reddy. Before that, Mitranam, you have to understand the very important things, because here we are talking about very big numbers. Because we are talking about very big numbers here, so you have to know what is a million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion. These are the dictionary numbers corresponding metric systems: mega, giga, tera, peta, exa. I have made the things very easy for you. Million is 6 zeros, that is same as a mega. Billion is 9 zeros, that is giga. Remember, big. Billion, giga is 9 zeros. Trillion is very easy to remember. T means 12, that is tera. Again, trillion, tera, 12 zeros. Quadrillion, quintillion, quintillion, you have to remember 15 zeros, 18 zeros after one. That is the peta and exa. If you remember Taipei, the city in Formosa, Taiwan, in the Pacific Ocean across mainland China, that is the capital Taipei, that is the Terra Peta Exa. And if you remember, Mongolia, Central Asian country, that is a mega and giga. Mongolia here somewhere, Taiwan here, Taipei here. Or if you want to remember dictionary meaning million and billion, you can remember Mumbai also. So these numbers we will be exploring. I have shown here in detail for you. Before that, you have to, excuse me. So here we are assuming we are placing 1 grain per second on the board. That is the subject to assumption. Why I have chosen that way is very easy to do the maths calculation. Suppose if you assume 2 seconds or even more, the numbers vary. You can multiply accordingly, or even if you take less time, the numbers vary. But generally, at least you take a grain and put it in the board, assuming all the grains are present nearby, somebody handing to you. So these are assumptions. So this is the square 30. There are two things here. On the square 30, the grains on this particular square is, let's say, 536 million. Million means 6 zeros, right? You round up the number. At that stage, because if you count from 30, 29, 28 until 1, if you pull all the grains together, that will be just double. That is, you will have 1 followed by 9 zeros, that is the big billion grains or giga grains present. You can look at that in either way. That means here you see on the 30th board you have 537 million grains. In the next square you have double it. That means 1 billion or 1 giga grain. So these aspects you have to keep in mind. Let's go over time. We have 60 seconds in a 60 seconds in a minute. You have 60 minutes. You have 24 hours, 365 days. Multiply all of them together and you take it granted. I did it. 31 followed by some number. You just round it up into zeros. 31 followed by 6 zeros here. Instead of 31, you again round it up. You make it 32 followed by 6 zeros. 6 zeros means a million. That means in a year you have 32 million seconds or 33 million seconds, the way you like it. So that means if you take 1 giga, that is the billion, 1 giga is billion, big. Billion and giga means you have 9 zeros, grains. If you take 1, you have 9 zeros, 6 zeros, 9 zeros. That means you are taking, why you are taking 1 billion means, you remember here on this 31 square, you can put 1 G grains, 1 giga grain or 1 billion grain. That is the reason I have taken it. So if you take 1 billion grains, 1 giga grains and divide it by 32 or 33, and 1 billion is nothing but 1000 million. Remember, million is 6. Remember by 32. That means you have 32 or 33 as a denominator. 1000 is a numerator. You get 33 years. Again, very easy to remember. You are on 31 square here. That is a 1 gigagrain or 1 billion grain. It takes almost 31, you said 33 years to fill it. Remember, the previously when we looked at that, we were on this 25th square. This is the 25th, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the 25th square, it took 1 year to put the grains in on the board, including that square. And you took 1 year and put it, and oh, you may be thinking, oh, it's very easy. I am 25th square. Oh, the remaining, let's say 30 square, you can cover it very easily. No, that is not that easy. Why? Because we say 1 here, you double it, then you become 2. Then double it, you become 4. You will get. Then double it, you become 8. Double it, you get 16. Double it, you get 32. That means 32 times it takes, because you are doing doubling from here. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 doublings you are doing 30. So the process is very enormous. That's why the rice board chess grain problem is used to explore this. So here I put mega, giga, billion, tera, peta, exa in every thumbnail so that you will not get lost. You can comprehend things easily. On the 38th bow, on the square, you have a 0.5 gigagrains on the square. On the entire board, you have 1 gigagrain, 1 billion grains. We're assuming it will take 30, there are 32 million seconds in a year. What is it? So, that's why the humans lack intuitiveness. Human intuitiveness is very poor in grasping the implication of the exponential growth. What is exponential growth? Exponential growth is a very easy thing. And exponential growth is like you take it, there is a certain thing that is increasing at a constant rate. That is exponential growth. That is compounding. That increase can be 0.1% or 7%, 10%. If it's a 10% or 20%, it will be very rapid, but eventually it is essentially the same. Intuitiveness is the natural way of thinking. The humans lack intuitiveness to understand this one. That's why Professor Alan Bartlett is very famous in popularizing this, the concept of exponential growth. Says one of the most shortcoming of the human beings is understand the concept of exponential growth or compounding. This is a very important to understand. That means here the things I have made it simple here. There are 8 billion humans on the planet Earth. How many grains you will have when you reach the 64th square, and the entire board how many grains, rice grains you have? If the 8 billion humans are present today, 8.2 or so, round it up to 8, you put 1 before it, so that is 18. Then again, because it's the billion, put billion, billion. So billion, billion means 9, zeros. That is exa, that is quintillion. In the entire chessboard contains 18 quintillion grains, or this particular square, 64th square alone contains half of it, 9 quintillion grains. So why I have brought this point is just to remember it takes around about 31 years or so to put 1 billion grains, that is the giga grains on the board. It takes 33 3 years of your life. We are talking about here billion, that is 18 times. So you can comprehend it. So you will never be able to even put it on that. So we have to understand this basic concept, like there are 33, 32 million seconds in a year. And if you remember that, and you will get the all the things very clear to understand this entire concept. So to put it in the proper perspective, and from 25th square to it should be 30th square here. So it will take 33 years more, because 35 times doubling 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. That means 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 30. So the problem is extremely enormous in nature. That's what we are trying to understand using the rice chessboard problem. In the next presentation, that is number 8, because we'll be exploring more, I will talk about how many rice grains are present in a million ton. Ton is 1000 kilograms or a metric ton. Million means you have to have 60. That is the standard way of mentioning the harvest of the grains like rice or wheat or corn, maize, sorghum, millets, and so on. If we take a million ton, how many rice grains we have? We are assuming the weight of the rice grain will be around about 20 milligrams. That will be the 50 trillion grains. This concept we will explore in the next presentation. Thank you, Mitrulara, joining me today. If you like these presentations, you can put your comments or suggestions, or even you can bring it to the notice of your friends. This is your presenter, Dr. J. Tirupati Reddy, South Asia Maps Education Channel.